Hey baby.
Hey baby, how you doing?
Hey
How you doing,
baby,
sweet
I'm
thing?
good. Yeah, I'm gonna learn some Japanese today. Got any of them
Let's
Japanese?
shimashou. I don't think my apartment is big enough to host any pony of any size.
No
So
ponies.
we'll figure that
Just so
one.
it's come to
We'll
this.
we'll, we'll, we'll figure that out this weekend.
Mhm.
Does that sound good? We'll
I
find
think
one.
yeah. I think we can horse around a little.
Sick.
Horsing around.
Sounds good. Well, in the meantime, we're gonna rein those horses in just a little bit.
Mm.
So have fun, I'm sure. This better be fun, otherwise I don't know what we're doing here. Um, but yeah, we're gonna continue doing our little sequence of boot camp stuff.
Mm.
Yesterday, we did some focus on verbs and some particle stuff. So today we're gonna be doing some adjectives and nouns, mainly like adjectives and stuff. So we'll see when nouns come into play and such, but that'll be the main focus. I should say describing things is what we're going to be doing today. If
Okay.
we have enough time, we'll see if we can revisit our once or not once. I'm sorry. Blah blah blah. Comparisons. Sorry, it's over here.
Okay.
But we'll look into that once we check time on how far we get into things. So
Okay.
moving on, we have our list of rules here. Would you like me to briefly kind of like run through these
Yeah,
different things? There's
I say so.
kind of a lot here. Okay. Um, the one thing that I didn't include in this list is what to do with just present tense positive things for both e-adjectives and nouns and non-adjectives, and that's just because it's just des, right? You don't change anything. You just say the sentence normally. So it's just adjective, des, right?
Mhm.
Um, so that's just why that's omitted. So we'll just go down our list of e adjective conjugations. So the one thing to always keep in mind, right, is that for pretty much all of our conjugations, we need to be modifying this final e that's in our adjective. So in our example here, we have tanoshi.
Mhm.
So for our present tense, negative, we just need to turn this e into kunai. And then we're
Okay.
done because it's present tense. Okay?
Mhm.
Moving on to past tense here. Similarly, we need to modify this e here. And for past tense positive, that just becomes katta. And if you can have this association that katta means past tense, that'll be really useful.
Okay.
Like when you hear it, past tense. And this will actually kind of extend past just e adjectives here. This kind of syllable sound will stick around to mean like past tense for a handful of different things. So kind of good to try and internalize that as much as we can.
Okay.
Oh, and I forgot to mention with E,
Yeah.
E's our little watch list guy.
Watch listman.
For all of the for all of the conjugations, we need to turn it into the form of like yoi, basically.
Mhm.
But that first E becomes a yo. But after that point, the second E we conjugate normally. So
Okay.
like I mentioned here, that first E becomes yo, and the second E here follows the same rules as like tanoshi, where the E becomes kunai,
Okay.
right?
Does that oh, I guess it does. I was gonna say, does that apply for the Tefform E scenario? And it looks like
Yeah.
it does.
This applies for all E adjective, or I'm sorry, all E, the adjective E,
Mhm.
all conjugations for E,
Okay.
which is like, good and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then same thing happening with past tense positive because of the first E becomes yo, the second E just becomes katta, like tanoshikatta,
Okay.
right? For our past tense negative, I like to think of this as we start from a different place. I like to think of this as we want to make sure we're going to the kunai conjugation because
Okay.
once we're here, this e follows the same conjugation for past tense. This just becomes katta. right? Because we can treat this as an e adjective conjugation at this point. So similar how this e in tanoshi for positive became tanoshikatta, the e here in kunai becomes katta.
Okay.
Tanoshikunakatta.
So the Tanoshi Kunai is only one step within like the past tense negative like evolution chart, if you would.
Yeah, that's how
Okay.
I choose to think of it, because it just feels, it just helps, me bridge the steps instead of just being like, okay, for past tense I need to replace e with kunakatta,
Okay.
right? It just especially because like ideally, we'll have some familiarity talking in the present tense. And so once we have that familiarity, we just need to do the same past tense treatment, right?
Okay.
That's all.
What was my thought? If we, yeah. So like Tanoshi Kunai is like in and of itself that is the same as the present tense negative.
Yeah, tanoshikunai would be present tense negative. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure I'm
Yep.
understanding the steps correctly. Okay.
And then yeah, once again, e follows the same convention. So we want to get it into negative. So yokunai, same thing up here, right, for present tense. And then to turn it into past tense, that last e just becomes katta, yokunakatta.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just didn't type out des because space.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Any questions for e adjectives?
I think I'm okay right now.
Okay. For nouns and na adjectives, because when it comes to conjugation, these are almost always going to be grouped together, and do the same thing. So present tense, positive, like something is, you just add des, right? Don't need to do anything with that. For negative, that des kind of becomes jarimasen. We don't need to modify the noun at all. We don't need to modify the na adjective at all. We just slap jarimasen right on the end and we're done. And that's for present tense.
And we would not do something like a jarimasen des. It would just end in the jarimasen.
Hai.
Okay.
Hai, so desu ne.
So desu ne.
For our past tense, for positive, we just add deshita. So you can think of it as turning des into deshita, however you choose to think about it. But once again, we're not modifying the noun or adjective, the not adjective. We are just slapping on a deshita for past tense positive.
Okay. For this column, because we have like the nouns in addition to this, is it just that like the e adjectives, there just are no nouns that end in that sound?
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's just that this is how you split up the categories.
Okay.
Because like I'm sure there definitely are nouns that end in the character e.
Okay.
But just like there are na adjectives that technically end in the character e, like kirei, that doesn't mean that those ones are e adjectives and follow the rules of e adjectives.
Okay, that's right. Like non adjectives are their own pool that you just kind of have to distinguish. Okay.
Yeah. And it just happens to be that for conjugation's sake, you do the same thing to nouns as not adjectives. There might be a historical reason for that, but I don't have any fun facts to explain why that is.
Okay. I think I didn't chime in initially that like this is the only column of these three here that includes nouns, and I was like, why is that? But well, I guess that's not true. Terraform and noun are a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because once again, nouns are just
they are
when it comes
not
to conjugation, at least. Yeah. They group up in the same exact way. Yep. And the last thing in our middle group here for past tense negative, similarly to how with e adjectives we wanted to go from the just the base negative conjugation to past tense. We kind of do a similar thing here where we want to have like jarimasen, similar to present tense negative, or just noun or non-adjective jarimasen, and then we slap on a deshita.
Okay.
and we don't have to modify the noun or the adjective at all. Add just a slight little space here. Boop. Any questions here?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. And we'll probably focus on the first couple of things with this and move on to here at the end. So if you need me to revisit this, just let me know. Excuse me. Let me color this.
I don't
know why I originally chose this color.
I mean, green is good. Everyone does.
I really like this green in my Japanese notes. I don't really care for it in anything else, but here it just feels right.
Interesting. There's one I do a lot of like software testing for those unaware. And that is the same green I use for my pass column. So it's like it's deeply seated in me that I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. But what was the thought I was gonna have? This is 100% a tangent. But I was listening to this thing about like the way people associate different shapes with different colors, and they're like, yeah, like people tend to associate like circular things with the red, and I'm like, that's not true at all. I don't feel that way. Like a circle's definitely blue. And then they're like, to be fair, the tested subjects in this study were all Japanese, and they're all very accustomed to seeing the Japanese flag as a big red circle. I'm like, oh well, that makes perfect sense. I think I'm like circle round, circle's nice, blue nice, circle blue.
Yeah, that's weird. Cause like for me, if I were to do that same thing, a circle to me would be green.
Yeah, like I would see green in the same way like I like the stoplightish kind of green blue situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, but
exactly.
But I'm like a circle is a friendly shape, so it gets a friendly color, not blood red, definitely not blood red. But if you're Japanese, I see why that would be the case.
That does make sense.
Anyway.
Oh, excuse me. Big yawn.
Big yawn.
So for our TEF form at the very end here on the right, once again it's split up between e adjectives and then between noun and non-adjectives, same as always. And like always with e adjectives, we're modifying the e the very end here. That's what we're changing up. And for TEF form, we need to make that kute.
Okay, kute.
Yeah, it's not just tanoshite, tanoshikute.
Okay.
And then, yeah, same applies to our e. We need to change that first e to a yo, and the second e to kute, yokute.
All right. And if you were to like romanize yo, what it like that the yo that the yoi that we're like conjugating here, would it be safe to think of that as like YOI?
Yeah.
Okay. Yoi.
Yeah, it was interesting that like in the last Japanese course that I was taking, in the instructions, my sensei started putting yoi instead of whatever else I was like expecting, and it was really confusing at first because I was like, wait, how do I read this? Because otherwise, like, it would be something else. And then I was like, oh, they're doing yoi. Okay, weird, interesting.
Weird indeed.
Yeah. For non-adjectives in nouns, we just add on de, and then we're done.
Okay.
That's it. No modifying.
Not
needed,
a single
so like,
thing changed. Keep it as it comes and put a de on there.
So like kire, even though it ends in e, this one's technically a non-adjective. Kire de, and then you're done.
Okay.
And just keep in mind, these come in the like middle of the sentence, so you wouldn't end a sentence with like de or te.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the
like
te is functionally an and. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, I am bad at, I think, compartmentalizing the like parts of speech, because in my mind I'm like, if we're conjugating a thing, it's a verb. I think that's just because of how most of French education went for me. So like if I am trying to like keep what we were doing yesterday and like archive it in the right chunk of my brain relative to what we're doing today. They're both conjugations, but this is just adjectives and nouns, and everything beforehand was a verb, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
You've got it.
All right. Because I was like, when I was like trying to put together all the verbs, that I was like, all right, here's everything that like comes relevant in this course. I was like, wait a second, where was all the like e's and tes and all of that business we were doing? Where the heck is that? Like, I didn't think to myself like those aren't verbs.
Yeah.
But I got you.
Okay. So we're gonna be pulling from what we talked about yesterday. I just like revisited some of the things that you brought up, and we're basically just going to be describing them.
Okay.
So I can, because like we might want to work in using like ski and stuff to like say I like certain things. So let me think about how I want to.
As far as like pulling
this.
in like yesterday's activities, as far as what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with coffee here on the 14th. So I'll just simply ask, コーヒーはどうでしたか?
Like, how
and then
did I have my
you'll
coffee?
probably want to pick a word. How was it?
Oh, how was okay. We are saying like how or like in what manner was the coffee, right? But it like it would be appropriate to be like it was oishi or like yoishi kunai. Like those would be the words I would want to respond to that with, right? Okay.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, you know, コーヒーはどうでしたか? So it's past tense.
Yeah, the past tense. Okay. Past tense. And whether it's I use the text to speech all the time, so I just assumed I initiated that. I had a mental hiccup. I'm like, how are my words coming on his screen?
You reached through my screen, my computer.
Do that? What is
you can fit in the wires after all.
It's just like serial experiments, Lane. It's the same deal. Okay.
The same thing.
So past positive, and whether it's past positive or past negative is based off of my own response here, correct?
Well, I mean,
like if I'm playing like if I like it or if I didn't like it, like that would be what's dictating that. Okay. And oishi is an E, right?
Hi.
Okay. First steps first. We put them in one of the columns. We're going with oishi. It's positive, so I'm doing oishi kata desu.
Hi, oishikatta.
Oishikata.
コーヒーはおいしかったです。
Yeah, I should have put the desu there. I did not.
はい、コーヒーはおいしかったです。Well, I'm going to ask this in a little bit different way. So if we need a refresher on how to say this bit, we can talk about it, or I can give an example. But
okay.
どんな so like what kind? どんなコーヒーが好きですか?
If I wanted to say like it was sweet, am I sweet? Was it? Okay. I guess that's probably also an E. Actually, I don't know. That could be a
and it is. Yeah, it is an E adjective. And I kind of flip-flopped a little here when it comes to tense, because now I'm just asking in general, like どんなコーヒーが好きですか? Right?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
はい。どんなコーヒーが好きですか?
Okay. Because you're asking now just like what kind of coffee I like, as opposed to how was that specific coffee in the past. Okay.
はい。
I'm trying to think. Would it make sense for me to try and make the sentence "I like it sweet and creamy"? Like, because I don't have the creamy word, and I don't know if it's worth dabbling.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Cool.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
All right. It was sweet.
Kurimi.
I like it sweet. Kurimi.
That's what I found, at least.
Well, there you go. Actually, on that thought,
Uh-huh.
the like E sound rules, because like we have it like everything here is in hiragana, but it is the sound, right? Like it could be either character set that distinguishes these rule sets, correct?
Between like E and adjective?
Yeah, like it wouldn't be like, well, it's not a na adjective because it was a katakana na, right?
I'll just say this because I'm not
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where you're at.
Okay.
The easiest way to immediately distinguish between E adjective and non-adjectives is that the final character will just be an E.
Okay.
Right? For E adjectives. If
Okay.
it doesn't end in E, that's pretty cut and dry. It's going to be a non-adjective.
Okay.
I mean, well, it could be a noun, and you just have to remember which one's a
That's
noun,
true.
which one's
Okay.
non-adjective.
I guess my question is, like, if I'm
the
like
meaning, but
if I'm a computer, right, and I'm doing like a find and replace, and I put like a hiragana E at the end, right, and that would not pick up like any other character used. Does it still qualify that way? Does that make sense?
for the most part, like if you're doing like a control F,
Yeah.
for the most part, but there are going to be some not adjectives that will end in E, like kire, and that's why I always have kire usually as our example for not adjectives. But because like what ends up happening is that kire just becomes so now there's no E.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kire na, but like with tanoshi, there's still an E.
I see. Okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what this ends up being. That's so like once you start learning kanji, like once you start learning the kanji for a word, you typically already know what it's going to be. But
because you're looking at it.
Yeah.
But like for, I guess for loan words specifically, like is that a concern? Like could you type
good question.
Yeah. I'm like, does a
so,
katakana E change that?
Yeah. So from as far as I can imagine, I think loan words that are adjectives are going to be treated as not adjectives by default. So like,
okay. I'm glad I asked that.
Creamy. So I'll put this as an example. So kurimi would look like this. And notice that like this final character isn't technically E. It's that extension, right? So that might be able to help, in your mind be like, well, it's not an E. It's a different character.
Okay.
So it'd be like nah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering. All right. Okay. So let's say I do want to use the creamy bits, just since we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Would I be like? Hold on, I'm trying to think what tense we're in. I'm just saying I like just present positive in this case, right? Okay. This is a nah. Hold on. I just had a knock at my door. I'm not expecting anyone right now. You mind if I pause you real quick and swing by and check?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a second.
Come on by when you're done.
All right. Welcome back.
Okay. We're back.
Woo. All right. So kurimi is where I'm at, right?
Kurimi. Yeah.
Kurimi. And it's a na. And I want it positive. Hold on. I'm losing myself visually. I want to be in the middle column, right? Where is present positive? What do I do?
So for just as a bit of a reminder, if we're doing this like TEV form business, the last adjective that we're using in the sentence and how we conjugate that determines the tense. So whatever's in the middle, if we're saying and, like I like it this and this, this will stay in the same form. So it's not like if it's past tense, like if I was saying like the party was fun and lively, I wouldn't say like party wa tanoshikatta kute. It
Okay.
would still just be tanoshikute nigiyaka deshita. The thing at the end will determine the
Okay.
the tense.
All right. I guess in this case then that question isn't relevant. But if it was, right? If I wanted a positive present tense na or noun, what do I do?
Here, real quick, let me add this last little thing because
Okay.
technically we'll be saying it in a little bit different of a format here.
Okay.
So let's see here. Noun with adjective. What I'm putting down here is what to do when we're like using adjectives to directly describe something.
Okay. Like in its current state.
Yeah, like sweet coffee, right? Instead of saying like coffee is sweet, we're saying
sweet coffee.
What I'm putting up here is like sweet coffee, right? Do I put a plus here? Is that fine? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
fine. And then kirei na heya will be our example. Okay. So if we want to modify something with an e adjective, we just kind of put it in. Tanoshi. We don't need to change anything.
Okay.
To it, so it'll just be like the adjective plus the noun. So let's see here. Our example will be tanoshi How do I type this? There we go.
Party. Okay.
Tanoshi party. You just put it on. But with na adjectives, this is why they're called na. You put in a na in between the adjective and the noun. So like our example here, kirei na heya.
Okay.
So we'll be using this in our sentence probably.
Okay. So
back to describing the kohi.
Okay.
We want to say it's creamy
and sweet.
Yeah.
So in this case, do I go kurimi na te? Like would I still just put a te right there? Oh, ooh.
Sorry. There was a na there because I was just typing it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Yeah. It would just be nate.
It would be de because it's an adjective.
Oh, okay. I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Kire, not kire. Kurimi de. All right. This is what we just talked about. Noun with e.
So we want to say creamy and sweet, right? Is that what you want to say?
That's right.
Okay.
And the de is doing the and, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would go on this like upper rightmost column for this, the noun with the e adjective for amai.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just amai kohi desu.
Right. And if we wanted to answer the question of donna kohi ga suki desu ka?
Oh, sorry.
How would we do that?
So
Do you remember?
I would go with amai kohi ga suki desu.
Hai. So desu ne.
Okay. And in that phrase, sorry. What is the god doing here? I know like just from the sound that it feels right there, but I'm not sure why I'm putting it there.
Yeah, because the guy here is basically identifying the subject of like.
Okay.
So similar to O, just in a different different kind of way. Like once again, like particles, the function of particles is always to identify the relationship with like the verb or verb phrase thing that we got. I don't really know how to necessarily refer to this because we use it like a verb, but anyway. And in this case, we would use ga to identify what is being liked or what we don't like or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so if you want to think of it like this whole thing is a chunk, right? The kurimi de amai kohi. Oops, wrong way. This is all like one big chunk of the sentence, and the ga here is kind of like following it, still referring to the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It might sometimes, I mean, depending, it might just be easier to remember that we use ga when we're using adjectives as verbs. But functionally, it's because the ga here is identifying what is being liked.
Okay. I see.
Cool.
Very cool.
So yeah, if you wanna read that for me.
Okay. Just the starting with the creamy part or the whole shebang?
Yeah, just the this bit.
Okay.
Second sentence.
Kurimi de amai kohi ga suki desu.
はい、そうですね。Okay. Let's see here. 昨日の日本語の not 昨日. What's the date today? It's 2 days ago.
Today's
おとといの Yeah. 日本語の勉強はどうでしたか?
How it is right? How is my Japanese study
日
going?
日本語の勉強はどうでしたか?
でした。
どうでしたか?
Alright, hold on. 今日 today?
いえ。Well, we're just for the 14th.
Okay.
日本語の勉強はどうでしたか?
今日 well, I guess I don't need to sound like that. Let's say if I want to say it was interesting. Muzukashi, right?
難しい would be like difficult.
Oh. Omoshiroi. Is that what I want? Okay. Do I want to open with like a kyo wa?
Like kyo. What does kyo mean?
Kyo is yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kino yesterday.
Kino.
Kyo's today.
Okay. Is this sorry, I'm like reading the like 414 and the like kyo that's beside that. Is that just because it was copied from what we were doing 414?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Binkyo.
Oh,
It's just cut off there.
okay. That's I see. Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right. And yesterday was ototoi. What we were using then?
Day before yesterday is ototoi. Yeah, ototoi. Ototoi. Sorry, not ototoi. Ototoi.
Ototoi.
Oh.
Day before yesterday. Which
Ototoi.
Yesterday is the 15th. Day before is the 14th. Okay.
Yeah.
If I wanted to say yesterday's Japanese homework, would it be ototoi no Nihongo no benkyo?
Hey.
Okay. I didn't know if it was cool to have all of them no's and in there.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and it does feel weird,
Okay.
but
It
you
just
do
is
it.
what it is.
Yeah, and as a reminder, it was kanji, right?
Okay.
So
Oh,
if that
yeah.
changes how you want to, or what adjectives you want to use to describe it.
No, I think it doesn't. I think it was interesting. I don't think
Okay.
I want to come in with it was hard, because I think it was more like a lens into like how you approach it, as opposed to like, here is the new kanji you will suffer with on this day, right? So I think it was more interesting than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, because the question was do, right?
どうでしたか? And I'll just change this to kanji.
Okay.
漢字の勉強.
漢字の勉強どうでしたか? 漢字の勉強はもし what tense? This is day before yesterday. And that would like its base form is omoshiroi with an e at the end.
はい。はい、
Okay.
そうですね.
All right. And that is it is an e. It's not a na.
はい.
Okay. Omoshirokata desu.
はい。そうですね。面白かった. その漢字の勉強は、つまらなかったですか? つまらなかったですか?
つまらなかった. What a wonderful phrase. Sumara.
And I'll type the question out over here for reference. Can you do that?
I'm blanking on the vocab here.
Yeah. So, as a little bit of an exercise, so つまらなかったですか? Why does it keep on resetting?
I've felt this pain before.
Can you see this well enough?
Yeah, that's legible.
Okay. So this is the question, but let's see if we can kind of break down at least what's going on here, right?
Okay.
Based off of how it's said, right? So would you be able to first point out what tense this would be?
Yeah, we're doing it's got kata, so it's past tense positive, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what would its base form be based off of that information?
Oh, we're working backwards. Hold on. Sumari? Is that what I want?
So for what do we do to get it into past tense for an e adjective?
We would take its like.
Well, I mean, actually, spoilers,
I get.
because the kata is e adjective, but yeah, how do we get there?
We would take its lingering e, right, and we're swapping that with the kata, which means there once was an e there. Would that give us sumaranai?
はい.
Okay.
はい. そうですね. And tsumaranai means boring.
Oh. Okay. And that
so by
the original question, sorry, it was just kind of getting covered. Sumarana kata desu ka? No, it wasn't. Ie. Sumare. Okay, if I wanna negate this, right? I wanna say it wasn't boring. It wasn't. Oh, sorry. If you could, you remember how like yesterday we had the like will won't business going on? on like the labels for these.
Yeah.
Does that still make sense to do here? Or is it different just because it's a different part of speech?
I mean, it's just for past tense. It like either just was or was not, right? Would you like me to?
Yeah,
add that?
it's helpful for me.
Okay. Let me see if I can put this.
Thank you for indulging me.
Was not. And then we have, I can just do this. We got is not. No. It was. And then was not. Does that work?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
It was not.
Now I'll just put like an and.
And it's an E. Sumara. Na. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Bring my boys home.
What?
All right, there we go.
Okay, that was weird.
Sumara na kata desu.
Sumara. So Sumara, because its base form is E, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sumara na kata would just be, and this word means boring on its own, right?
Oh yeah, I was doing. I need to make it negative.
Or it was boring.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm stepping through like the Tanoshi example. Tanoshi kunai is not done yet, right?
Not yet.
Tanoshi na kata desu. So I want umara na kata desu.
We did the same thing.
Shoot, I felt like as I said it, I'm looking at it. I'm like, that's the same question. All right, what am I missing here?
So we need to change this E into kunai to make it negative.
Right.
And then we need to then turn that into past tense. So we'll just step through this. Tsumara nai.
Okay.
What do we need to do to that E to make it negative?
We make it a kunai.
Okay. So that would be, if we were just saying tsumara nai but negative.
Or without doing a past tense, like yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we have tsumara na heat. Shoot. Okay, I am now looking at like the upper left column, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I want past tense negative or present tense negative?
We'll get there.
Okay. Right now I'm just
tense.
looking at present tense negative.
Yeah, both. I mean, yeah, that's this first step is included in both, however you want to look at it. So we're either, if you want to look at past tense negative, it's this first line.
Okay.
Because it's the same first step
as
present tense negative, right?
Okay.
So wherever you want to look.
All right, I'm looking at the bottom left then.
Okay.
So umara nai to umara kunai. I'm struggling.
I think you had it.
Umara kunai is what I said, but I feel like I'm missing a sound in here.
Correct, you are, and it's tsu, not
tsu. Sorry, shoot. Sumara.
We just modify the E.
Okay.
We don't need to change anything else. Just the E.
Sumara na kunai.
Hi, so desu ne.
It helps.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky because like that this na here, the instinct I definitely get is wanting to
That is the
do something about
instinct.
that.
Yeah.
But as long as we keep in mind that the only thing we ever change is this E,
Okay.
that should steer us clear, straight
Okay.
and true.
I see. I want to be straight and true, my boys. I want to. All right.
Okay, and so this, and then from here, if we want to put this into past tense,
All right. Sumarana kunai then goes to sumarana kunakata desu.
hey, I'll just type this on the sentence.
All right. And I don't need to do anything else to that sentence. That's good standalone.
Yeah, just des.
Okay. Yeah.
We're making a complete thought. Hi. Okay. So, go ahead and read this second line for me.
Okay. Kanji no benkyou wa omoshirokata desu. Sumarana kunai desu. Excuse me. Sumarana kunakata desu.
漢字の勉強は面白かったです。つまらなくなかったです。
Sumarana kunakata desu.
Okay. Is there an extra? Oh, this is down there. That's why there's some more space. So moving on to the next day, if you don't mind describing the 事務所。事務所はどうですか?
And jimusho itself is office, not work, correct?
Yep. So 事務所はどうですか?
どうですか? We're asking how it was, right? I was working.
どうですか?
ど
うでしたかじゃなくてどうですか?
ですか? Not desta. Where I'm timing. What is the date?
Well, so we can ask how it was yesterday, but right now I'm just asking just how is your office?
It is. I'm gonna go with it is quiet. Shizuka, what I would want there?
Hey.
Okay. Shizuka. And is that a noun?
And is that all you want to describe it as?
I think so. I think do you want me to do an and?
It's up to you.
Okay.
I mean, we can step through it. I can ask and then we can add to it in a second. But
yeah, I'm just gonna stick with quiet then. It gets a little lonely there these days.
So if you want to just make that as a single sentence, 事務所は
事務所は I'm saying right now I'm saying it is quiet, not it was quiet, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
事務所はいい adjective plus now.
So Shizuka, right?
Yeah. But Shizuka is not. Oh no, Shizuka is a na, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But is not. It was. Shizuka deshita. Or no, I want the na in there.
でしたか?
No, that's
いえ、
past
ちょっ
tense.
と待っ
Shoot.
て。でした。はい、そうですね。
Which one of these is?
So I was hoping to not have to put this because
Okay.
this is just our basic sentence, right? It's just
Okay.
des. 事務所は
Yeah.
静かです。
Okay. I don't have to do a thing to it. Okay.
Yeah. If we were like on its own, if we were wanting to say it's a quiet office, 静かな事務所
Okay.
because it's a non-adjective. But that's not exactly what we're saying here. We're saying the office is quiet versus quiet office.
Okay. That's an interesting distinction to make.
Okay.
I'll probably need to revisit this idea.
Yeah, I mean, in like when you start when we get more practice in like doing that second form where it's like the noun with an adjective, saying it in English does distinguish how we're going to say it in Japanese as well, right?
Okay.
It kind of works the same way. So, kind of like in the coffee situation where it's like this first sentence is like, yeah, the coffee was sweet, or the coffee was tasty, and I like creamy and sweet coffee. Not the coffee is sweet and creamy, right? Okay. So 事務所は静かです。小さい事務所ですか？
いえ、事務所は大きいです。
大きい。広いですか？
Hiroi is like wide,
Hiroi.
right?
Yeah, wide or spacious.
Spacious. Okay. That's where I was struggling. I'm like, is my office wide? Hi. Shoot. What was the word we just used?
広いですか？
Hiroi. Hi. Hiroi です。
広いです。じゃあ、let's put this together.
Okay.
Why not?
We are now
Shizuka
doing
and Hiroi.
the te business.
Yeah.
Okay. Shizuka, which is a na. Noun, te form noun, na adjective is what I want, right? Like the bottom third column. Okay. Shizuka. Just de, or na and de.
Yeah, just de.
Just de.
We don't need a na here.
Okay.
Just de. はい。事務所
Okay,
は
it's-
静かで広いです。
Looking at the bottom column.
Okay.
The na adjective should be thought of as one thing, not na and adjective, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
I can just do. Oh.
Yeah, I think that does help.
Yeah, and yeah, that's why there's an example there too. It's
Okay.
just kirei de,
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
shizuka de.
Shizuka de. And then
Yeah, and just for the sake of practice, let's say it is a spacious and quiet office.
Okay. Office being a noun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Noun with na adjective.
So similar how we did, this bit of kurimi de amae kohi. We're doing the same thing, but I want to swap which word we use first. So it'd be like hiroi will come first,
okay,
and then shizuka.
Okay. The tense doesn't matter on the first one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hiroi. Noun with e is an e adjective, correct?
Right.
Okay. Hiroi jimusho.
Spacious and quiet. We're gonna put them together.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Tef form. Let me orient myself initially. I want the top of the third column right now, right?
Sure. It's an e adjective. We're doing tef form.
It's got the tef form. This is what I want.
It's an e adjective in a tef form. You
but
tell
there's
me.
like a noun there too, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Hiroikute.
Because like if there was a noun, we would be saying it's a spacious office and a quiet office.
Okay.
Right? That would be weird.
All right. The noun only applies to this. Okay. So the te goes with the first chunk, and the noun comes with the second chunk.
Yeah, because
Okay.
like we're kind of saying it in the same way that we do in English, right?
Okay.
So it's a spacious and quiet office. We're
Mhm.
not saying it's a spacious office and a quiet office,
Okay.
right?
All right. Then yeah. Hirokute.
Hey,
And then now we go right one more column. Down with this is Shizuka. Shizuka was a na, we said, right?
hey.
Okay. Uh Shizuka na jimusho. And then do I still give this a des?
Hey.
Okay.
Question for you:
Mm-hmm.
would it be better for you to try and without like needing confirmation, would it be better for you to try and just like figure out what it is, and if it's wrong we describe why it's incorrect, or does it work better for you if we like have that confirmation at each step of the way? What do you think
For
would
me,
help you
it
out?
is dramatically better to get the feedback as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I think it's my gamer brain. I think I'm polluted. I think I need
Yeah.
to be killed quick.
Yeah, because like part of why I asked is because like I don't know if I didn't know if it would be better for you to try and have more confidence in like why you're saying something, right?
Mhm.
Versus having to question it every time.
No,
You know what I mean?
I think I benefit from knowing which step the error occurs in like in that like programmery kind of way, right?
Okay, so how about this? Instead of confirming it all the time, I will just correct you. Would that be better?
Yes.
Because I would like you to have like find some sort of confidence throughout this process, right? So if it's just incorrect, I will step in. How about
Okay.
that?
That works by me. I accept
Okay.
the EULA.
Okay. So we'll just repeat this just for readings and such sake.
Okay. Hirokute shizuka na jimusho desu.
Yeah. And let me see if I can fit this. So I'm gonna be like, jimusho wa dou desu ka? And then this can be the response to that. And then down here, the question can be, どんな事務所ですか?
Okay.
Just to kind of show how these are a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if the question was like, 事務所はどうですか? 事務所は静かで広いです。どんな事務所ですか? 広くて静かな事務所です。
Okay.
And we can do that same. We should do shukurai. You mentioned that you had some homework, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So shukurai wa dou deshita ka?
Well, are we asking what kind of homework?
Donna would be what kind. Do is like how was it?
Okay.
How? Yeah.
Do deshita ka? It was kind of difficult. I won't lie. And it's not fully done, but it's mostly done. And this is muzukashi, correct?
Correcting you.
Man. I don't know. I don't know where to break the steps down. Okay. I'm gonna say yes. I believe in myself. Okay. Shukudai was the word that we used there, right? And we have been like reiterating that chunk at the start of these sentences. So I'm gonna say Shukudai wa Uh, and I'm thinking muzukashi is an E adjective.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going with it was muzukashi katta desu.
難しかったです。はい。
Okay. Yeah, the shiku kind of situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
宿題は難しかったです。
Shukudai wa.
And then, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Shukudai wa muzukashi katta desu.
はい。難しかった。Let's see here. What's another thing I can ask? Yeah, there's really not another new adjective we can we can use. So I'll just ask. どんな宿題でしたか？どんな宿題でしたか？
Doko's where, right?
はい。
Do is like how was it, right?
Yeah, どう is like how. Mhm.
Okay. And so is dona the like what kind?
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to, cause we had like a word for like computer science when we were doing like major like Senwon stuff. And I don't remember what word that was.
Yeah.
Rekshi was
for now,
Rekshi
let's
science?
just
Or was that history?
Rekshi's history. Yeah, it's
Okay.
history. For now, let's keep on just trying to describe it using our adjectives.
Okay.
'Cause I was just,
Okay. I got you.
Mainly distinguishing between the different ways we can say
Okay.
it, right?
Yeah, and
That's all.
I guess, and that this is where the thought of like, well, that probably is the same word we're using here. Muzukashi is probably still what we're doing, right? Yeah, it was difficult homework. If we wanted to do a little variety, we could say it was interesting and difficult.
Okay.
Let's see. Because I'm starting with a omoshiroi.
Okay.
Would be te form E adjective, I believe. Omoshiro. Wait, is it? Because it like kind of ends in like a ro sound. Does that change things?
I mean, it does end in an E.
Okay.
Omoshiroi.
Okay. Yeah, I've already taken off the E, so I guess I shouldn't be worried about that. Omoshirokute.
はい。
How did we? Omoshirokute. And then muzukashi is what I wanted, right? And then here is where we care about the tense, but I guess that tense isn't changing. So
Interestingly, we'll have to do something a little bit different.
Okay.
Because the noun now is what we are needing to do something about to make that past tense.
Okay. Is the noun necessary? Like, could I just say like it was this and this without specifying it was this?
If we were saying this a bit differently, so if this was like in response to this first question, we could do that, or it'd be like 面白くて難しかったです.
Okay.
But yeah, in this case, it's like 面白くて難しい宿題でした.
Okay. And the shukudai
yeah, this is a little funky.
Just the noun, right?
Yeah, that's homework. Okay. Yeah, a little funky because, this still kind of stays as present tense, but when it's like modifying the noun like this, we don't need to really change that because the end of it is what determines the tense, like the very end.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, little bit different. But if you want to go ahead and read that as a response. どんな宿題でしたか?
面白くて難しい。難 Wait, hold on. Am I reading this as muzukashi? Oh, shukudai. Shukudai is its own word. All right.
はい。
難しい宿題でした。
はい。はい、正解。Okay, yeah, that works.
難しい宿題でした。
はい。Okay, so 昨日の仕事は so yesterday 昨日の仕事はどうでしたか?
Yeah, you said yesterday. That was it Kino you said?
Hey.
Okay. Kino yesterday. Shigoto's work. How was work yesterday? That's what I'm working with. Okay. How would I describe it?
You mentioned this week that you're working a little bit longer hours, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm working longer hours so I can get out earlier Friday. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to decide if I want to describe it as busy, which it was maybe busier than I expected it to be, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was we were grinding. It was, but I mean, it was longer. It was longer.
Hey, we can use that to describe it.
Okay. I wonder, would I say the hours were longer?
We could just say the work was long. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Yeah, I guess like you could describe a day as being long, and that makes sense still in English. And I want to use takai for that, I think.
Takai is like big.
Okay.
Nagai in this case would
Nagai.
be long.
Okay.
Nagai.
Got it. And that's an e, not a na.
Hai, nagai.
Nagai. Okay. If I'm confident we talked about this earlier today, but if it looks like an e adjective, sounds like an e adjective, is it an e adjective, or is there still like it still could be a na?
It is mostly safe to think it is an e adjective.
Okay. All right.
There are a handful of not adjectives
And
that
they
technically
exist.
end in the character e, like kire,
Okay. Yeah.
which is why that's always the example there.
Okay. Gotcha. And we said nagai. And we are talking about yesterday's work.
Hai.
仕事は長いit was 長かったです。
はい。大変でしたか? 仕事は大変でしたか?
Yeah. I'm wanting to negate this one. Taihen in and of itself is a noun?
It's a na.
It's a na. Okay.
It's like taihen's like rough or
rough
or
yeah.
tough.
Like I think of like in my mind I can think of like characters just like saying taihen like as an exclamation. So I'm like, is that an idea by itself? But it is still an adjective in this case.
Yeah, because like usually when they say like taihen, they're like, oh no, but that's because it's like it's not great.
Okay.
bad.
Gotcha.
I mean, Taihen doesn't
They're
necessarily
like-
mean bad on its own, but
I guess they're kind of be like, ooh, rough.
yeah.
Okay. Taihen. I want to say. All right. I am looking at like the bottom. The second bottom column, I think, is where I want to be.
Okay.
The like. I want that Jarimasen chunk, right? I want like. Shoot. Taihen Jarimasen deshita?
はい。はい。大変じゃありませんでした。
Okay.
We can't really say even though something something just yet, but I was like, maybe we can say because it was long, it was tough. But that's not the case. We won't worry about that.
No, it was pretty chill. It was. I want to say physically a longer day, but I'm like, I don't know if time is physical. That's abstract.
Okay, so we'll move on to our. I'm trying to think. Say it again.
I don't know if time is physical.
Oh yeah, I doubt it.
I think like
I have a
if you were like in
Probably
an
not.
academic sense, I think you could argue it is, but I'm not qualified to have that
Ooh.
argument.
Yeah, I do not have the credentials
Yeah,
to
no, not
put
me.
forward that thesis.
Einstein Janai.
Okay. I was gonna introduce something else, but I would like to just finish off
Okay.
for now, and at least with the next thing here. So
yeah, we're like approaching an hour 15 right now.
okay, yeah, we can end this with this last one. So, Uchi, I guess like, would you rather describe your house as a whole, or would you rather describe your room?
Let's say my room. I'm more familiar with my room naturally.
Okay, so ラフの部屋はどんな部屋ですか?
How do I answer that? What kind of room is it?
Yeah.
Ah, man, I don't know how to do that in English. I guess right now it's kind of messy, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I work with that. Messy. I could. Do we have messy, or should I go with like it's not clean?
It's not. Yeah, we should do. It's not clean.
Okay. And that's a kirei is a na, right?
Mm-hmm.
The exemplary e sounding na. It is not. It today. It is not clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kirei kunai desu. Or maybe heya wa kirei kunai desu.
Kirei is a non-adjective.
Oh, I'm sorry. My eyes are misplaced. It's not. Kirei jarimasen. And jarimasen does not need desu. Was this that one?
Yeah, it is just jarimasen. So it'd be
Okay.
like kirei. Heya wa kirei jarimasen.
I'm a little saddened by myself to be like, how would you describe your room? And be like, not clean. That's who I am. Disappointed. Now everyone knows.
と部屋は広いですか?
In the grand scheme of rooms, I'm gonna say no, but it's the largest room I've ever had, so it feels like it. I'm gonna say no. Yeah. Hiroi was the word, right?
はい。
Hire. sounds. It sounds like an E, but I'm not confident. Is this enough? I'm just gonna ask straight up.
It is not.
It is not.
It is an E adjective.
Okay, I can trust.
We
my
also,
instincts.
we also worked with this word just a little bit ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is an E adjective.
Okay. And we're talking about my room as it is today. Hirokunai desu. Or heya wa hirokunai desu.
Hirokunai desu. じゃあ, if we wanted to make this a complete sentence, or just like one sentence, I'm sorry, because this is a complete sentence.
Okay.
If we wanted to turn this all into one sentence,
a compound.
how would we? Let's
right.
give that a shot. So we'll put in, just for the sake of order here, and we'll need to figure out what to do here.
Yeah. Okay. So we start with the and bits. It is an E. Hirokute.
So hirokute would be modifying hiroi as it currently is, because you're modifying this E. So hirokute would mean like it is spacious and something else.
Is that not what I'm trying to do?
I thought it is not spacious.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm conflicted in my own heart. Yeah, this should be negative.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to say before, but I guess not what I was trying to say then. Negative E. Hirokunakata.
We do want it in this negative form.
Say that again. I'm
we
sorry.
wanted this negative. Yeah, we do want this in like a negative form.
And
right?
it is.
So let's start with there.
It is present negative, correct?
Yeah, for now.
Hirokunai.
Okay. And for doing te form, we can treat it the same way as a regular old E adjective.
Okay, so the E is the bit we're doing things to, right?
Hi.
Get rid of the E and give it a kute.
Hi.
Okay. Hirokunai kute. And then, well, that's the and. Am I putting a noun on this now?
We were starting with heiawa.
Okay,
so
it's already in there. Heiya wa hirokunai kute kire ji arimasen. Man, my room sucks, huh? Damn. I mean, shoot.
Heiya wa hirokunakute. So we got rid of that E, right? So we don't need that there. Heiya wa hirokunakute kirei ji arimasen. So it is not spacious and it is not clean.
Hate to see it, fellas.
Yeah. Bad timeline. So what I wanted to point out here is that this was an example of how the kunai, the negative form of all of our adjectives, we can just continue conjugating this normally using our E rules, right? So like if this was past tense, I'll put this back over here. So if we have our base negative form, hirokunai, our past tense, all we do is modify that last E to be kata, right? And then with the te form, same logic applies. We just modify that last E, hiroku na kute, because we can treat that E and nai as an E adjective when it comes to conjugation.
Okay.
And that was the main reason I wanted to say this, just to kind of like exemplify that's what's going on.
To show that it's still following existing rules. It is not its own new rule set.
Exactly. Yeah, the only like weird one that we kind of had was, where did it go? Was this sentence, the 面白くて難しい宿題でした?
Mhm.
Because it's like we're just kind of saying that a little in the opposite order that we used to.
Okay.
Because we wanted to swap this around. It'd be like 宿題は面白くて難しかったです.
Okay.
So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, main things I want us to leave with today is like I kind of just mentioned, making sure that the E bit is what we're always conjugating to whatever next tense we need to, whether that's like TEF form or past tense. We can follow the same rules.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the main thing to keep in mind, because like otherwise, like the non-adjectives and nouns, they just follow a pretty straightforward pattern. The E is just when things get slightly more complicated, but if we can kind of like hone in on this idea that we're always just modifying that last E, regardless if it's positive or negative, that will direct us wherever we need to be, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions on that bit, or any lingering thoughts?
Trying to think of my thoughts. I think I'm good. I think I could use more practice on this, but I think the things make sense. I just need to hone my instinct to make sure I follow the things that I have at this point determined to have made sense.
Yeah. So if let me make this a little bit smaller so it'll fit. Hopefully it'll fit. You know, we're just gonna bring this down over here. So for today, what we mainly practiced was the present, past, and negative forms, and TEF form. We'll focus on like comparisons and stuff some other time.
Okay.
We probably could have used this if we had a little bit more time, but we'll find a spot to work with that a little bit later.
Okay.
TEF form seems to be a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
Or sorry, I'm highlighting the wrong thing. Go back. TEF form seems to be a lot easier. We just need a little bit more work with here, and also when we're kind of like combining it and trying to keep our logic straight on what we're trying to modify, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll worry about this some other time. So we'll add this to the list of things we'll revisit at another day, but this kind of sums up what we were able to focus on today.
All right. Very good. Thank you for the help again, my friend. All right, and everyone else, you have yourself some sweet little sweepies. Good night.
Have a good night. Mata ne.
Matani.